Hi folks, so shortly before 4 o'clock, it is Saturday, 8/16, this says 75.2, that still says 74, this is telling you my batteries aren't fully charged, and it is 22 degrees even centigrade. So, thing is, Stoney got me out of the house nice and early this morning to go buy a three-wheeler. I figured on my way back I might as well hit a few of my old haunts just in case there was some more crap I had to bring home and fill up the garage with. And to that end, I found this this lamp, invested a whole $2 in it, and this is actually an LED, which is cool. This is what it looks like. You can see the light there, right? So an LED lamp, spent all $2 on that, and guy had this. This is an LED spotlight door cell. Came with batteries. So he wanted 10. I gave him 8 for it. So I spent $10 at the flea market. So, and there I am, still on my way home. I stopped locally because there was a sign that said tool sale. And it's actually one of my neighbors up on the hill. So it turns out it was an estate situation. An older gentleman, his daughter was selling the stuff off. An older gentleman, I guess he was almost 90. He just passed on just recently, just about 90 years old. And he had 20 acres up on the hill. And he had all kinds of cool stuff, all kinds of tools and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of it sold. He had a few tractors left. The cars, I guess she was using one of the cars. So there's like a Jeep Liberty that she's going to sell off when she's done. I guess the house is sold, so now it's just a matter of just the last little bit was left, and that's what I got there for. So I bought these 2 boxes. They're, power cutoff boxes. This one has cylinder type fuses in it. This guy here has the screw type fuses. This one's good for 30 amps. I think this is a pair of 20s in here. I think there's a pair of 20s. And they also had the solder. This has lead in it. This is standard lead solder, which is absolutely no good for plumbing. Right, you can see this, what is it? 50/50 tin lead. So it's no good for plumbing, but I discovered that the real lead tin solder is good if you're soldering up cables, like I had to do on the Speed Defies Gravity bike. Oh look, I can shine light that way. So that's the story on the solder. About the estate, this was actually a pretty cool situation. I guess the guy bought the land, I don't know, over 50 years ago. The daughter said she moved there when she was a kid, and she seemed to imply she was in her 60s. So maybe he bought the land 60 years ago. It was a 20-acre plot, top of a hill, nice and flat. Long driveway leads back to it. He built the house and everything else. She said he was a carpenter and an electrician. From the tools that were left, he was obviously a woodworker. He had quite a bit of electrical stuff for house wiring. No electronics that I noticed, though that could all be gone. One of the things he had, which appeared to be a really good idea, he bought one of those steel buildings but it was like really low and flat, wide, and it was big enough, quite honestly, where it looked like you could probably fit a Cessna airplane in it. If you walk down toward the edges, toward the low part, maybe it was just barely 6 foot, you know, on the low part where it comes down to the edge, right? Maybe barely 6 foot tall, but the high part was quite a ways up there, 10 feet. It had to be. It was wider than this. I think it was wider than this. Maybe it was like 16 or 20 by 30 wide, but low. It really looked like it was meant to put a Cessna in. You know what I mean? So that the you would have enough span for the wings on a Cessna. And he had in there, he had an old kit boat like Musty One had. He had an old kit boat. Somebody else, I think she said her nephew was taking that up to Lake George. He was going to restore it and use it up there, though it looked like it was in nice shape. He had that in there. He had a International tractor, you know, one of the high wheel guys. I think it was centered. I don't think it was cattywampus where the engine's off to one side, but there was a front end loader on it. And she said he made the front end loader, but it was a beautiful job. I mean, it could have been made, you know, it could have been factory. It was beautiful. Maybe it was factory, or maybe he built it, but it was a beautiful front end loader. It was made out of pipe. I don't know if you guys have seen those. But the story on the guy was he worked and cut grass and did everything until about 6 months ago when he got sick with leukemia. And it just took 6 months, and just before he turned 90, he passed on. I got to tell you right now, I wish there was a piece of paper I could sign saying that I was going to live and be healthy to the ripe old age of 89, at which time I was going to catch something, and it doesn't matter, pneumonia, cancer, whatever it'll be. And I'm going to finish up in 6 months, and I'm not going to destroy the estate by being expensive to it. You know, I'm going to just, you know, wrap it up in 6 months and be done. And then from what his daughter was describing and what I saw on the leftovers, he was a crazy hoarder, as bad as me, maybe worse, maybe not. Nah. From her description, probably worse. His basement was at least as big as mine, and it was full, and her description of full makes it about as bad as mine. Then he had a 2-car garage. From her description, he used to be able to pull equipment in and out of it, which means his garage probably was not as bad as mine. And then he had a couple of outbuildings out back, that airplane hangar, as I'm going to describe it, and something else. And she says that a lot of that stuff was cleared out, but there was still a lot of stuff in there. So he has more, I mean, huge outbuildings, not like my little 10 by 10 sheds. So anyway, so there it is. That's what I've been up to. And I've gotten nothing else done today. I've been a complete and total waste product. So I need to stay home and stop fooling around and actually get some work done. Anyway, guys, I've been babbling for about 9-10 minutes now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for subscribing. Hey, Stoney, thanks for the video, because you got my butt out there moving, and I actually scored a nice 3-wheeler. Guys, if you have a few minutes, go see my buddy Stoney there, Toasted Head 420, and go watch some of his videos, his new 200S that he's very proud of. Yeah, go watch and see. There are a few videos I need to make. I'm being asked questions about troubleshooting an electronic ignition system, and the person is saying I have power to the coil and stuff like that. And when I read stuff like that, I get nervous, because the only way you're going to get power to any of these things is if you're running. I've found no luck like hooking my meter and pulling the string and getting any real meaningful measurements on any of these AC powered ignition systems. Normally what I do is I do a bunch of component checks to ground. I do a stator component check to ground. I check the primary and secondary of the ignition coil, which quite honestly those are both done to ground with the wires removed. Also the stator with the wire removed. I do a test of the on-off switch to ground, and then to itself. That's so when I see a comment that I'm seeing power to something, I'm not quite sure how to answer that. That's like when I ask what color the sky is, and somebody responds, what color can't the sky be? They tell me the sky is, bright green. And I'll kind of be thinking, it could be dark, it could be black, it could be blue, it could be kind of yellow or orange if the sun is setting. If it's bright green, I'm scratching my head. I'm thinking, are they looking at the sky? Are they looking at trees? What are they doing? And it's the same thing when somebody tells me they have power to something, and now I'm scratching my head, because they're describing a bike with an AC ignition system, and you really shouldn't have power. You shouldn't have power to the coil. I don't know. Maybe it's a reverse interlock he's looking at. I'm really not sure what he's up to. So I'm going to need to spend a few minutes. It'd probably be easier if we talked on the phone or something, because yeah, it's going to take a few minutes to figure out what's going on. Anyway, I should make a video on troubleshooting these things, like 10 steps to figuring out what's wrong with your 200S ignition system. And that would also be true for a 200ES, and with a few small modifications, even the 250ES and 300 TRX 300, or even the 350X or 250R. I mean, these things all basically have the same ignition system. So that's one video I really should make. I should make another video on the spooner box there, that ignition box, where I just start in the beginning and kind of take it apart and put it all together and say exactly where all the individual components came from, and from a size point of view, and junk like that. So maybe somebody else could build one, or another few of them could get out there, because they're a really handy troubleshooting tool. I should get the rear end out of the John Deere over there. I can show you how it's blown up, and I really want to fix that John Deere well. My plan is to keep it, but if my son ever gets a house, who knows, maybe it'll go join him there, or one of the Sears will go join him there. But I'd like to do that. So there's another couple of videos. So there's a lot I should be doing. I should do the brake job on the cruiser. But it seems that I'm being distracted by Toasted Head, who keeps sending me on these buying missions. Not directly, just indirectly. He just seems so enthusiastic, so happy, so into it, that after watching his video, I decided I had to go out and buy another 200S. Alright folks, thanks for watching, thanks for commenting, thanks for subscribing. Remember to keep your feet down, keep your head up, enjoy your life, and go out and buy a 200S. You need it. Somehow you need it. Bye now.